Hi guys, this is Additional Mathematics Form 4, Chapter 5, Progression Intensive Practice 5.2. My name is Terry. In this video, I'm going to go through this practice with you. If you enjoy our video, like, subscribe, and give us a comment. Yes. Right. Let's look at question number 1. This is mainly on geometric progression. So the first question is, we need to find the number of terms in this progression here, and with that we need to find the sum as well. So yeah, number of terms and the sum. So for part A, your first term we know is -1. Your common ratio R is the ratio of the second term T2 divided by T1. In this case, 3 divided by -1, which is -3. My last term Tn is 2187. So I need to find the number of terms n. So we use the formula A R n minus 1 equals to 2187. Now remember, this -1 you cannot times with -3 because the -3 has power n minus 1. So instead we have to bring it over to the right hand side, -2187 now. And -2187, you can use a calculator, is actually -3 power 7, right? You can use trial and error your calculator. 3 power 5 is 243, 3 power 6, 729, 3 power 7, 2187. So by comparing, the power n minus 1 is now 7 and is now 8. Okay, and if you want to find the sum, we'll just use S8, which is A 1 minus, okay, let me clarify this. There are two formulas for sum of the first n term. We can use Rn minus 1, R minus 1, or you can use a 1 minus Rn, 1 minus R. Usually we use the first one when R more than 1, and we use the second one for R less than 1. But let's say your R is more than 1 and then you make a mistake, you use the second formula, it's okay, no problem. The final answer will be the same, right? Okay, so I'm going to type this in the calculator. -3 power 8, 1 minus -3, this will be 1640. Okay, well, I think I don't have enough space for part C. So okay, I'm going to do part B on the right hand side. Later C and D, just move it down, okay, or just erase and redo. Okay, so let's look at part B here. This one involving logarithm. My first term A is log base x, log x power -1. Now there's no base here. If you normally you assign a base, but in this case they don't, so by default it's pretty standard. So we can just leave the base, don't need to write. So put the negative down, copy x. Yeah, remember, laws of logarithm can transfer the power in front. Your common ratio would be T2, which is log x minus 2, divided by T1 log x -1. Actually, when you bring the power down, it's -2 here, divided by -1, right? And this is just 2. Your common ratio is just 2. Now, if you use the formula Tn equals to AR, by the way, sorry, sometimes I assume that you really know, because this is the intensive practice, so you really know done the self-practice initially, so you know the formula for Tn is ARn minus 1. Now, my last term is log base x -64. So I sub in my A, log x, R is 2, n minus 1, this is log x, sorry, I tend to write x as the base, x -64, and that -64, you can bring it down. Okay, let me just copy this over here, right, and you can cancel the log x. So 2 power n minus 1 is now 64. Yeah, we cancel this 2 and the negative as well, so you're left with 64. So we know 64 is actually 2 power 6, n minus 1 is 6, and is 7. So now we want to find sum of the first 7 term. Let's use A, which is negative log x. Let us use R as 2. Okay, by the way, I'm using the first formula now because your R is more than 1, R is 2 here. So 2 power 7 minus 1, 2 minus 1. 2 power 7 is 128. 128 minus 1 is 127. So there's a 127 here. I'm just going to write 127 in front here. Log x, and you can transfer this up, so it's log x power negative 127. Okay, so that is part A and part B. Okay, let's move on to C and D. Now C and D, I'm just going to erase this. Yeah, don't have enough space, so okay, I'm going to write down here. Oops, let's go back to, oops, I actually erased the wrong thing here. All right, so now how do you solve for C? Now for part C, as you can see here, that your first term here is 0.54. My common ratio is 0.0054 divided by 0.54, which is going to give us 0.01. Now remember, the formula is Tn. Okay, let me write down Tn first. My Tn is 5.4 times 10 power negative 70, and this is given in standard form. So let's take 0.54. Your R is 0.01 power n minus 1 equals 5.4 times 10 power negative 17. Now, if you take 5.4 divided by 0.54, okay, 0.54 means 5.4 power negative 1. Okay, it's up to you whether you want to do this or not. Yeah, it's really up to you. You can use your calculator. You don't have to do this slow. I'm going to show you the slow way. This is 5.4, 10 power negative 17. 0.54 is actually 5.4 times 10 power negative 1, isn't it? So 0.01 we can change to 10 power negative 2, right? And these two 5.4, I can cancel them off now. 10 power negative 17, when you minus negative 1, is 10 power negative 16, right? And from here, before you compare the power, maybe it's better you multiply this inside 1 by 1. So you can see they are both of base 10. So by comparison, 2n is 18, n is 9. Oh, this is very long. Wow, I may not have enough space to be right to do the sum. Okay, anyhow, I think I'll just squeeze in here. My S9 will be A. Now this time, because your R is less than 1, I'm going to use 1 minus R, 0.01 power 9, 1 minus 0.01. Now this one is a bit unique, because when you type in your calculator will give us like recurring decimal, because this 0.01 power 9 is a very small number, so it will give you something like 0.54545454 recurring decimal. And if you just use your calculator button, change the fraction, is 6 over 11. Okay, so that is part C. Okay, part D, my first term A is 3. My common ratio, I'll take D2 3 over 2 divide D1 3, which is just half. So my Tn is 3 over 64, so we use A, R, n minus 1, 3 over 64. The 3 and 64, they can cancel. 3 and 3 over 64, this part here, you can cancel them. Left with 1 over 64. Now 1 over 64 is basically 1 over 2 power 6. So n minus 1 is 6. N is 7 again. Okay, but to find S7, let's use the formula A, 1 minus R power n, n7 here, 1 minus R. Okay, use your calculator, type in, you should get 561 over 64. Yeah, so this is a bit long, because you have to find n and find Sn. Okay, so let's move on to number 2. So here you're given a geometric progression. 4.5, your A is 4.5, your common ratio negative 9 over 4.5, which is negative 2. You're supposed to find the number of terms such that the sum is 769.5. So we'll use the formula A, R, n minus 1, 769.5. So you just divide this, 769 divided 4.5. Wait, I made a mistake. This is sum, not Tn. Oops, sorry. Tn is ARn minus 1. Sn is A 1 minus Rn 1 minus R 769.5. Okay, so let's take 769 you multiply with 3. 1 minus minus 2 is 3. Divide by 4.5. And you will get, this is a bit ugly, you will get negative, this is not negative, this is 513. Yeah? Okay, and when you switch this over, I'm going to write negative 2 first, negative 2 power n first. This is negative 512. Now 512 is negative 2 power 9. You can use a calculator to trial and error, right? You know that odd power, like power 1 is going to give us negative, power 2 is going to give us positive, power 3 is going to give us negative, power 4 is going to give us positive. So we know it's going to be an odd power. So you can use a calculator, trial and error. Maybe power 9, you should get negative 512 because it's going to be negative, right? So by comparison, n is just 9. Okay, let's move on. Question number 2, we're done. Let's look at question number 3. Now in this question, you're supposed to find the possible value of x, given that this is a geometric progression. You're given 3 terms. Now in geometric progression, right, we know that t2, which is 2x plus 3, divided by t1, which is x, must be the same as t3, 10x minus 3, divide 2x plus 3, because you always have a constant ratio. The ratio is constant between 2 consecutive terms. So I will cross multiply first, 2x plus 3 square, multiply x with 10x minus 3, expand this bracket. This is 10x squared minus 3x. Rearrange to the same side. 10x squared minus 4x squared is 6x squared. Minus 3 minus 12 is minus 15. Bring the 9 over, bring everything to the right hand side. You will get this. As we divide by 2, divide by 3. 2x squared, 5x, and 3. The result is 0. Now, what we have here is a quadratic equation that we can factorize. 2 times 3. I should use 6 and 1 to get 5. 6 is negative, 1 is positive. So your x is negative half or 3. 2 possible answers. Alright. Now, second part, they say find the sixth term if x is less than 0. Now, if your x is less than 0, so we should take x equals to negative half, right? To find the value of sixth term, we must identify what's your a and what's your common ratio. My a is now negative half. Now, for me, common ratio, I'm just going to sub inside here because this is my common ratio, right? T2 divide by T1. So this will be minus 1 plus 3, which is 2. When you divide by half, it's the same as multiplying by 2 over 1. So your common ratio R is negative 4. To find T6, remember Tn formula is given by ARn minus 1. My A is negative half. My R is negative 4. N minus 1 is 5. Now use your calculator. You get 512. Okay. Yeah, not difficult, right? I hope. Question number 4. Diagram shows a few triangles. Area triangle follow a geometric progression such that the area third triangle is 36. So we say that T3 is 36, right? And the sum of the third and the fourth triangle, third and the fourth output, T3 plus T4 equals 54. Okay? Right. Now, T3 is AR squared. Remember, Tn is ARn minus 1. So this will be AR 3 minus 1 is AR squared. Now, for me, I'm not going to sub in the formula for the second because I know T3 is 36. So to make things easier, I'll rewrite this as T4. And T4 is 54 minus 36, which is 18. So this is AR, n minus 1 is 3, equation number 2. So we need to solve this simultaneously. So I'm going to take equation 2, divide by equation 1, AR cubed, divide AR squared. I'm sure you are familiar with addition and subtraction to solve simultaneous equation. But this is multiplication or division. It's equally easy because when you divide, you can cancel off the A. Yeah, this is by using elimination rather than using substitution. I find this is easier because when you divide it, you can cancel out and get R straight away. 18 divided 36 is half, so R is half. Yeah. By the way, R power 2 minus R divided by R power 3 divided by R power 2 is R power 1. You know that, right? Okay, so I've got R. I just have to find A sub inside equation 1. A, your R is half, you square it, is 36. Half square is 1 over 4. 4 times 36, 144. So I got my common ratio, and I got my area of the first triangle. Yeah, A represent area of first triangle. Okay, to find your sum of the third triangle to the 10th triangle, there are actually two ways of looking at it, right? So for me, since I already know the value of my first two triangle, right? I know, I know third triangle. Third triangle is 36. So, and we want to find from the third to the 10. So third to 10, how many terms you have? We should take 10 minus 3, but always remember to plus 1. So if you use your finger, 3 to 10, how many numbers? You cannot say 10 minus 3 equals to 7, right? You always have to plus 1. Yeah, you can use your finger and count 3 to 10. They are how many numbers? They are 8 numbers, right? So I know I need to let my first term be 36. I start counting from 36. I count the sum for the next 8 terms. That will be easier, right? My R is half, so S8 will be A 1 minus R power n 8 divided by 1 minus R. Now use your calculator, you should get 71, 23 over 32. Now some students may want to use this because you know about this, right? I think I explained some of the previous videos. So this is T3 to T10. T3 to T10 is basically S10 minus S2. Yeah, S10, if you use S10, S10 will be 144, 1 minus half power 10, 1 minus half. S2 will be sum of the first two terms. We can just use 144, 1 minus half power 2. Sorry, I don't have enough space. Oh, maybe I should squeeze everything inside here, right? I put minus 144, 1 minus half power 2, 1 minus half. So use your calculator, and this sum is still the same. So, but I would recommend method 1, right? So it is easier since I already know the value of my third term. Yeah, I don't have to subtract two separate sum. Okay, all right, let's move on to the next one. Okay, this is question number 5 now. Okay, perimeter of a circle. Yeah, can you see a circle here? Very colorful. All right, it's given by the formula Tn equals 3 power 8 minus n. So find the common ratio. Okay, you can actually find the common ratio without finding the very first term. Yeah, actually you can, but I find that when I read the question, I need to know my second largest, first largest, and all that. So maybe I just find D1 for you, easier to understand. D1, we substitute n with 1, so it's 3 power 7. Yeah, you can write this as 2187, or you can leave as 3 power 7 first. Now my D2 is 3 power 8 minus 2, which is 3 power 6, which is 7 to 9. To find your common ratio, we just take D2 divided by D1. Now I don't even want to write 7 to 9 over 2187, because when you write as 3 power n, you can just cancel them, right? Power 6, power 7, cancel, left with 1 over 3. Alright, so it's much easier that way, right? Okay, then sum of the 3 consecutive perimeter after the second largest perimeter. Okay, here's the thing again, 3 consecutive. There are two ways to look at it. Now, for me, it's not necessary for us to use the sum formula because the sum is too small. As in, 3 consecutive after the second means D3, D4, D5. Now, there's no point using Sn formula when I can just calculate this directly, right? But I'll show you Sn method as well, okay? So what I would prefer to do is, I know D3 is 3 power 8 minus 3. I know D4 is 3 power 8 minus 4. D5 is 3 power 8 minus 5 based on the formula here. So this is 3 power 5, 3 power 4, and 3 power 3. So I can just take out 3 power 3. Okay, is this too hard? You write 3 power 2, 3 power 1, 3 power 0. Yeah, basically I'm just factorizing the common factor. Now, when you have 3 power 5, it's basically 3 power 3 times 3 power 2. I take 3 power 3, I'm left with 3 power 2. If you have 3 power 4, I can think 3 power 3 times 3 power 1. I take out 3 power 3 here, I'm left with 3 power 1, which is 3. And if you have just 3 power 3, when you take it out, it's just 3 power 3 times 3 power 0, or just 1. So I'm left with 1 here. Alright, and 3 power 3 is 27. This 3 power 2 is 9 plus 3 plus 1, which is 13. And 13 times 27 is 351. Now, if you think like, oh, I want to use Sn formula. If you want to use Sn formula, well, I can find my third term, right? Okay, so I think method 2 here, I think I will just find D3, which is 3 power 8 minus 3, 3 power 8 minus 3, which is 3 power 5, and 3 power 5 is big number, 243. And S3, because I'm finding the sum for next 3 terms, it will be 243, 1 minus 1 over 3, power 3, 1 minus 1 over 3. Okay, I know some people say, oh, this is easier. Well, I think this is easier, but I'm just writing more steps for you because, yeah, you can actually count faster than this, okay? Anyhow, this answer is also 351. Now, I say this again for those who are not very clear about this, because you are finding the sum of 3 consecutive perimeter after the second largest. The largest is your T1, 2187. The second largest is 729. The third largest is T3, 243. Because we are finding T3, T4, T5, there are 3. You can start counting from T3, and then you use the formula Sn, A, 1 minus Rn, 1 minus R. Your n supposed to be 3 because you're counting the sum for 3 consecutive perimeter. Okay. All right, that's number 5. Let's move on to number 6, and I think this is the last one. Yeah. So there are 3 children with their mass arranged according to descending order. Yeah. Descending order means getting smaller and smaller. All right. Sum of the mass of the 3 of them is 7 times the mass of the lightest child. Okay, I want to tell you this thing because a lot of students, when you start doing this, right, we straight away think sum as S3. Okay, we write S3, or sum of 3 children equals to 7 times the sum of the lightest child. Okay, so now I would let the lightest be A, T1. That means in ascending. Yeah. Not descending, although they already mentioned here descending order. Yeah. Oh, sorry, ascending. Yeah, descending order. Right? Descending order means the heaviest to the lightest. So I'm going to do it another way around. I'm going to put A as the lightest, right? First time is the lightest. So your common ratio is going to be 2. Okay. So your answer is going to be more than 1. Okay. My S3, if I were to use S3 equals to 7T1, because they say the sum of the mass of the 3 of them is 7 times the mass of the lightest child, what happened is you will get A, R power 3 minus 1, R minus 1 equals to 7A. Now at this stage you say, can I cancel A and A? Can, because A can't be 0. So you get R power 3 minus 1, 7R minus 7. And here's the problem. You got stuck because you don't know how to solve a cubic function. You don't know how to factorize a cubic function. It's not unsolvable, it's just that it's not in your syllabus. We have to use factor theorem, yeah, to solve it. It's in IGCSE in A levels, but not in SPM. So yeah, we got stuck. Okay, by the way, I made a minor mistake. It's a plus, right? But you cannot solve this, so nope, we don't use S3. The problem with using S3 is that when you use S3, the formula has to be R power 3. And you cannot solve R power 3. Now, instead, we use sum as T1 plus T2 plus T3, which is 7 times of T1. When you use T1, T2, T3, notice that T1 is A, T2 is AR, T3 is AR squared. So the highest power I have is only R power 2. Yeah? Tn is just AR squared. The power is power 2. So when you form the equation, you're getting a quadratic equation which we can solve. Right, and this is 7A. Now you can divide everybody by A, so you get 1 plus R square equals to 7. Okay, so what we have here now is a quadratic equation that we can solve, right? So let's double bracket factorize r3 2 plus minus. Your r is more than 0, r is 2. Okay, now I think the answer at the back in the textbook, they give r equals to 2, but I think the question should not mention according to descending order, it's supposed to be ascending order, right? But it's okay, I'll just stick to the answer, which is r equals to 2. Yeah? You understand descending? Descending means they're getting lighter and lighter. If they're getting lighter and lighter, your common ratio should be less than 1. Yeah, between 0 and 1 to be exact. Now, then they say, find the mass of children whose weight is the second heaviest if the heaviest child is 14.5. So heaviest child is D3 now, is 14.5. To find D2, what do? Normally, to find D3 from D2, I times R, right? You know, right? D1 is A, D2 is AR, D3 is AR squared. So we just multiply by R, multiply by R. So, but here's the reverse. We just take 14.5, we divide by R, which is 2, you get 7.25 kg. So, yeah, the second heaviest is 7.25 kg. Yeah, and we are done. Yeah, so again, if you think this video is helpful and you would like to get more material, yeah, practice e-learning courses that we have, books, past year question, topical practice, yep, you can contact us and even, yeah, visit us on Shopee. We have it here in Shopee, right? So some of the books, yeah, or yeah, get in touch with us. Yeah, I will see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye bye.